Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to a new episode. The truth is bearer proof here, but this is day number 5 of 30 days of Irish whiskey. People are asking me, like, Jack, why is it that this thing is so important to you? Why are you making it a 30 days of Irish whiskey? And this is the third year that I've been doing this. And I will tell you what, I I think I would say even obsessed. I think one of the countries in Europe that I fell in love with before even the whiskey is Ireland. Love Ireland. I always say Irish people are the black people of Europe. That's the best way to describe it. They're welcoming. I've never felt out of place roaming through Ireland, regardless from Dublin all the way down to Cork and other places, Killarney. Everywhere I've been, I felt welcome. And not only the people are great, the spirit and the origin of spirits actually come from Ireland. So I want to remind everybody, if you're here, make sure you check my link for the 30 days of Irish whiskey calendar. Every day I'm posting either a video, an interview, and making sure that we actually have the calendar. Our guest today will be the one who get to choose the secret word of the day. So he will be the one who will tell you the secret of the day. I don't know what it's gonna be. I didn't ask him. So make sure you actually stay tuned. And or when if you're watching the recast, make sure you come back. This brand is I've always felt like I say it wrong. It's Clonakilty, right? That's Clonakilty. That's what I say it. But today we get to hear it directly from the man. They were very, very gracious. Not only as far as the winnings this year, we have this hat. There's multiple of them that were sent. Beautiful flask that they were sent to us. Beautiful flask. Everybody need a flask and some amazing T-shirt. You got some amazing T-shirt from the district. So at the end of the 30 days, these are going to be the winning things that we are going to have for people to win. But all this will not happen we if we don't have my man here. He was very gracious to jump in and just. I don't think I've seen anybody so flexible to say, "Hey, I would love to come and talk." His name is Sean Scully. I want to make sure I say it right. It is Sean Scully, and Sean actually is part of the family of the distillery. And you don't see a lot of, people jump in immediately and say, Sean, he's a co-founder and member of the family, growing up around the distillery, have learned everything he knows, literally being around. This distillery make gin and make gin and vodka, but whiskey is what I discovered him for. He's graduated from the University of Cork. If you've never been to Cork, you definitely need to go to Cork. And he's studying currently at Oregon University. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could make sure you actually give a warm welcome to our guest, uh, Mr. Sean Scully. How you doing,
Hey
brother?
Jack, how's it going? Thanks for having me, man. I have to correct you. I'm not young enough to still be in college. I've been out of college for about 10 years now. I wish I'd have more hair on my head if I was
On
young.
ahead, yeah.
Yeah,
I have the free 99 haircut going on.
there you go, man.
So I want to make sure I wanted to make sure I give you the proper introduction. So
Thank you.
yeah, so really quickly, I want to make sure people know. Um, Give me just a moment. I also want to make sure that our friend on Instagram are saying they are not seeing the show right now. I want to make sure
Yeah,
that you have it on Instagram. Um, but very quickly, I would say let's take the time to get to know you. Sean, who are you and what do you represent for the distillery?
yeah. I suppose you kind of hit the nail on the head there with your introduction. Yeah. My name's Sean. Obviously, I'm a co-founder of Clonakilty Distillery. So, like you said, I grew up in the south of Ireland, on our own family farm, and um, yeah, had a fantastic upbringing, running around the fields with cows and everything, and grew up in the coastal town of Clonakilty. And in 2016, we actually founded our distillery. So that kind of opened up a new way to showcase our farm, whereas previously we would have been growing some grain back in the day, but more so producing dairy, making bottled milk and cheese out of it through a creamery. But
Hmm.
I want to do something on an international scale, and what better to do than make Irish whiskey? So that all kicked off, 2016, and here we are 9 years later. I live in the States now. I live in Oregon, so emigrated out here about 5 years ago, and yeah, loving my time spreading the word of Irish whiskey and Clonakilty itself. It's really rewarding and exciting, and yeah, love being stateside. There's a good thirst for Irish whiskey over here, as you know.
Yeah, stateside is a big market. I always describe stateside to be the place to, the place to be if you know if you want to make a difference. And we love to consume, and we're always curious to try something new often. So I
Yeah,
always remind folks that it's important to definitely be in the stateside. And once your brand is known here, it's quite easy to actually be known around, for most places. So
yeah,
I'm very excited to have you on. I'm very, very excited to have you here. It's one of those things that I remind folks all the time that Irish whiskey is rich. It is rich. There is a lot that happens in Irish whiskey, and I don't think people give it enough credit. There is a lot of rich history when it comes to Irish whiskey, even though it is overshadowed usually by other whiskeys from around the world. Those whiskey wouldn't have happened if Irish whiskey didn't start first before it gets there. So, tell us a little bit about, um, let me see, tell us a little bit about, give me just a moment here. I'm
you okay?
gonna make sure that we are getting our friend from Instagram to actually see
Yep.
the live video correctly. Um, Uh, Instagram make it a little difficult to actually stream to them. So, um, Guilty Distillery. Okay, perfect. Audience is public. Okay, next. All right. Please take us through the town and how is it that Irish whiskey became your thing to
Yeah.
this.
So the town it's a small town of about 2,000 to 3,000 people. It's very much a rural farming community. Clonakilty as a whole is it's very well. The aim is to make it known for its Irish whiskey, but what it's really known for right now, it's a big foodie town. So it's known for its Clonakilty black pudding. So there's a great provenance around the town for food, not only nationally but internationally. You can't get that black pudding in America. Just it's made from pig's blood and stuff like that, so they weren't allowed to import it. But anyway, so it has a great name behind it. So yeah, we like I said, we had the farm at our disposal. That's been in my family for 350 years, 9 generations. So we're really, really proud of it. And just being able to showcase what we're doing on our small farm is on an international scale is really special to us. We're obviously we're not growing all our grain on our farm because our production is too high for that. We have to source
Hmm.
some barley locally, but it's all local Cork barley. With most of it sourced within a 10 to 20 mile radius around the distillery. So sustainability is a really important thing to us as a distillery, and we'll get into that more as a whole. But always striving to
Right.
be better and more conscious in everything we do. So that's constantly evolving. But yeah, we so I suppose my parents started a distillery. My first exposure to the idea of the distillery is a funny one, I suppose. So I was in college in Cork at the time,
Hmm.
over 10 years ago, and I would just come home on the weekends. And my dad, he's a bit of a serial entrepreneur. So we were at home, I'd come home, and on the kitchen island, he'd have coffee filters out, in this like clear bottles just with a white label on it with writing on it, and he was pouring these bottles into the filters, and he was like a mad scientist in a sense. But I just kind of let him at it. Um, what transpired was what I found out what he was trying to do was he's actually trying to create a limoncello from
Mm,
a whey-based ethanol from
mm.
the family dairy farm. Yeah, so that was the kind of the origins of the whole thing, really. But we never ended up making it limoncello. But that opened his eyes to the spirits world, I suppose. And
Yeah.
ultimately, we landed on making a gin and a vodka, like you mentioned at the start, from whey, so
Mhm.
from cow's milk, and that's really interesting. And then we wanted to showcase the tillage side of the farm as well. So we decided, Irish whiskey is going to be the main part of the business.
Mhm.
So yeah, growing our own barley oceanside, we're doing some really unique things that I can expand on later on in regards to heritage barley.
Mhm.
So trying to think outside the box and stuff. Yeah, so everything's grown oceanside, and the whole idea was to have the maritime environment that surrounds us to influence that barley as it grows. So naturally, the soil is going to be influenced from thousands and thousands of years of
Mhm.
being in proximity with the ocean. So that's going to influence the end product. But also, it's a very volatile environment as a whole. The southwest coast of Ireland gets a lot of stormy weather.
Yeah,
So
very very interesting weather.
yeah, I don't know when you've been to Cork, yeah,
I've been to Cork, I've been to Killarney,
yeah,
or from Dublin, what do you call it? I've been to Limerick. Um, one of the most interesting is only in Ireland I went and I woke up in the morning. I'm freezing cold. Midday, I need to change my sweatshirt. At night, in the right at the end of the night, I may need another jacket for rain. And after
yeah.
that, I'm back to being cold again. It's quite an interesting, weather dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope you were there. I hope that wasn't August when you were there, and that was more like
No, I was there
November
in
or so, was it?
December.
Yeah, good, good. Well, you never know in Ireland. That's the problem. Like you get a week of fine of 65-degree weather, and everyone's freaking out and running to the beach. It's a different
Hmm.
ball game. But yeah, we're constantly battered by big storms, and that obviously creates sea mist, sea spray, and that ultimately lands on the barley and will influence the grain. So the goal from day one was to have that influence come through the distillation and end up influencing the finished product and whiskey. And we just launched our single pot still whiskey, which we'll taste later on, I know.
Yeah.
And that's the first whiskey that's 100% our own juice, distilled, by ourselves, using barley from the farm, matured by ourselves. And we think there's a saline like brine like quality to it. So that's really fantastic that our first release does have those attributes. So if you want me to keep going, I suppose I can walk you through the
Yeah,
distillery itself.
go
And
for it. I would love. I'm gonna display the distillery here for people to actually see a little bit, because I tell people there is such a thing as seeing exactly how things are.
yeah,
If you never visited Ireland, I tell everyone you have to make it part of the places you need to visit in the world. There is a lot of places that you can visit in the world, but if your visit to Europe is a place that you have to visit, any day, anytime, anybody tell me Ireland, I'm on the plane
mhm.
already. I'm running. So I will show you a little bit. If you take a look, this is what we are talking about when it comes to the field.
That's
Uh, uh,
yeah, that's
Go ahead.
that's actually our warehouse. It's kind of cropped. You can't see the warehouse now in that orientation, but that's our
Hmm.
warehouse. So if you flick to the distillery, then we'll talk about the warehouse afterwards, I suppose.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
I will
So
I will
that's
show
that's the
that. Yeah,
distillery right there. Yeah. So we have our three copper pot stills there up top, as everyone can see, obviously.
correct.
But that building is that's in the center of the town of Clonakilty, and we're on the Wild Atlantic Way. So there's lots of traffic. It's a good tourist route, which is fantastic for us. Um, but yeah, it's 5 miles
Hmm.
inland from the coast where we grow our barley. This building was actually built to be a bank back in 2008. Yeah,
Hmm.
so funny enough, like I mean, it's makes sense. The bank actually never moved in because 2008 was obviously a terrible time to want to build a bank.
A terrible,
Yeah.
terrible
So
time.
anyway, that the building lay idle for a period of time. Then it was actually an Irish speaking Gael school where the kids learn Irish or learn all speak all their or speak Irish and learn all their subjects in Irish for a while. Then they left and moved into their permanent
Mhm.
residence. And then we purchased it and we knocked out. You can see kind of at the top of the stills. There's that kind of that line where that used to
Right.
be a full floor. So we had to knock out that floor, drop the stills in through the roof. We have production all inside there. Obviously, there's more production below the stills, kind of behind the scenes stuff. There's a restaurant, we have a visitor center, a gift shop, all that kind of stuff on site. So automatically, that wasn't, I suppose, initially the plans were maybe to build the distillery out on the barley on the farm by the barley fields, but we kind of,
Yeah.
as we thought about it, and you know needing tourists to come by and buses, they weren't going to make it down this small Irish road, which is
That's
meant for two
yeah.
cars, but it only fits a small car going one way down it. So so yeah, we purchased this building, and automatically I think the dream became a bit bigger overnight, and production was bigger and everything. But yeah, that kicked things into full gear, and here we are today. And I think we're I think we're doing ourselves proud. I'd like to think that anyway. We're producing good whiskey, and we're proud of what we're producing, and people seem to like it. So we're going to continue doing that.
That's and the view,
Yeah,
the view is just
yeah. So
beautiful.
those are the barley fields there now. And again, that's one of your beautiful 7 days in the year right there. It's not normally like that. But that's my
And you can see the field
yes. There
there.
you go. So that's my backyard.
Wow.
It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And if anyone's ever in Clonakilty in County Cork, you can come down there. You can walk into the barley fields, bring your flask of whiskey, and enjoy a drop or two. It's hard to have worse
Just a
just a
drop or
drop or
two.
two. Not, we can't have you getting carried away. You'll fall into the ocean.
A few people are lovers of the area and Connectivity. Those are the people on TikTok. I believe a few people have visited that area. So you are getting a lot of praise from people there on how beautiful the
Great to
area
know. Thank you,
is.
guys.
So that is, for all of you guys here, thank you so much. Um, Again, this is, you can, I tell people all the time, you can make this up, right? It's one of those things where you have to be there. You have to try, when we think about distilleries, or when we think about just whiskey makers, people only think about the whiskey itself. They don't understand that, there is the environment that matters. There is, plenty of things that actually matters to make this whiskey, from the weather to all the other things that actually matters to be able to make this thing, you know, um, make
Yeah,
make sense. So I promise you, you want to try this. You want to see, what that is like. So yeah, any opportunity you get, do not hesitate. Make sure you go visit the distillery. Make sure you actually, give it a shot. So before we get further in, let's say I've never got a chance to, or never got the opportunity ever to try anything from the distillery. What's the first thing you will introduce me to as a new, American whiskey? A lot of people now I've had a lot of people tell me, "Hey, I never even gave a chance to Irish whiskey. I don't know a lot about it, and I don't know." And let's say this is the first day somebody discover Clonakilty. What will be the first thing, as your guest, you will want me to try,
yeah. That's a
to
good
know a little,
question.
to know about the distillery?
Yeah, good question. I've actually never been asked a question like that before. I think I'm obviously exposed to a lot of people, and a lot of people over here in America doing tastings and everything. And I think you really have to like get an idea of where the person's at in their whiskey journey to start. If they're more of they're just kind of dipping their toes into whiskey in general. I might gravitate more towards our new Galley Head Irish whiskey. It's actually named after that lighthouse there, which is also
Mhm.
behind my head. That image,
Yeah.
different perspective right there. So our Galley Head whiskey is a fantastic drop.
Mhm.
It's yeah, our entry level whiskey retails for 29.95, and we only launched it
I'm
in
gonna show it on the screen now. This is what Gotti Head looks like.
yeah, we only launched it in September, but it's a lovely drop. You know, it's not going to be the most complex whiskey in the world given the price point, but it's a real approachable, easy drinking whiskey. So that would be my recommendation for someone kind of just getting into whiskey.
Guess what?
Uh,
Guess what? Because I'm just now I'm gonna be the I'm gonna suffer through this
yeah,
and be the tester of
well,
your
I'll join
theory.
you too. I have a bottle right here, so
Definitely, definitely. I will be sure that we get that bottle in so we can both try it and see what we have.
so I'm just trying to clean my camera small with focus.
Yeah, it's
Um,
those focus just you have those autofocus, but they never actually work the way they intended to ever.
I know, I know. I don't know how to even focus. I'll put my hand up and see if it focuses on me. But anyway, it'll be grand. It'll focus eventually. But yeah. So yeah, a Galley Head whiskey is it's named after the Gallia Lighthouse. Like I said, the Gallia Lighthouse was actually the strongest man-made light in the world back in the late 1800s. That was only for about 2 years before another lighthouse was built. But it's a pretty cool little tidbit, given we're in the middle of nowhere in County Cork in Ireland. So named after the lighthouse, and that's where we grow our barley. Um, the whiskey itself, it's a blended Irish whiskey. It's about 80% grain whiskey, and then 20% of our premium single pot still whiskey is blended into it also. So you get that smooth, kind of easy drinking, mouthfeel and everything like that from the grain component.
Hmm.
So very light, delicate spirit. But then you blend in the pot still into it, and that provides more of a viscous mouthfeel to complement the grain whiskey,
Hmm.
and also more complex flavors. So yeah,
I would say what slancha.
Solange, my friend. Nice to meet you. So this is solely a lot of our whiskeys are they're obviously matured in some barrels, but also finished in some barrels. This is solely matured in ex-bourbon casks. So again,
Hundred
back to
percent.
your question about bourbon drinkers and stuff like that, they might resonate with the vanilla, the caramel. You get some raisins on the palate as well. On the nose, you get apple, and maybe a small bit of raspberry as well if you're digging deep in there.
So on the nose, immediately for me, I had citrus zest,
Hmm.
some citrus zest, some apple. It's very crispy. This spirit's very crispy on the nose. Remind me of also, it's like if you're having those bright day, just a spritz of those lemon peel oil.
Yeah, I got
Um,
lemon zest 100% there.
correct,
Than anything else.
correct. On the taste, I love that little kick that comes through. There's that little kick that I'm seeing right there.
Yeah, it's a small bit
Where
of
I'm
spice.
seeing
Yeah,
right that is not it. I like to. I won't say is spicy for me. It's not like when we describe spice, a lot of people think spicy. For me, is more like ginger
yes,
spice.
yeah,
That little tickle that you get on the tongue,
yeah,
but not something that make you go, whoa, 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 why is it that spicy?
yeah,
Especially when you have a spirit. I'm gonna display the bottle again for you guys to see. The spirit is only 40% ABV. So for a spirit to actually have some oomph to it at 40% ABV, because my problem with most Irish spirit have always been it's too low proof. It's too low proof. But that pot still give you a little bit of that kick.
mhm,
While we are going through on this journey, and people are saying, I remind people, folks all the time, don't get fooled by the 40% ABV of an Irish whiskey. It still has body. So I'm displaying now, you can see it's definitely 40%, but that body still is 100% there.
yeah. And I think you're right as well. Like it's the single pot still that does add that body to it. You have the drinkability of the grain whiskey, and single pot still as a whole is known for its spicy characteristics. And again, like you
Mhm,
said, this isn't like a chili spice or anything. It's just kind of like a tingling mouthfeel more than anything. And that's what does again boost the viscosity and the complexity of the
mhm,
whiskey as a whole. So we're proud to be able to bring a product to the market priced as affordably as this is at 29.95.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me write that down. 29.95.
29.95. So same. This is the same price as Jameson.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Who are you competing with?
Yeah. So there you go. So
So
like
29.99, the most affordable Irish whiskey I've ever heard so far.
yeah, and
Uh,
it's a nice drop. Yeah.
I am shocked. I didn't know that was the price.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the price. So let me make sure I have the name right. The galley. This is the galley head.
Galley head.
Yeah, galley head is 29.90. And it has, I mean, I will spend $29 on this any day. Any day. This literally is like it's I was if somebody say, "Hey, let's grab a little bit of whiskey under $30," he just made my list of whiskeys that are under $30 that you should definitely own. I had no idea. I did not know that it was that affordable.
Yeah. No, it's
So can you explain
we're high.
why you had it at that price? Because there got to be a reason why.
Why? Well, we worked really really hard to get our price down. To be honest, as a whole, and especially to have single pot still whiskey in it, which is a more expensive type of whiskey to make than other styles of whiskey. We had to work especially hard to get it down, but we wanted to make a really good quality spirit as well. I suppose what we kind of reevaluated our pricing as a whole across our core line. There's
Mhm,
been two new SKUs introduced: this Galley Head and our single pot still, and we've retained our double oak. So we have so it's a tiered price system, I suppose, for our core whiskeys. We have the Galley Head at 29.99. Then we have our double oak now at 39.99. That was being
mhm.
sold for between $50 and $55 previously, only late last year. So
Correct.
we've got that way down to 39.99. And then our single pot still now is on the market at 49.99 retail. When you compare that,
Whoa,
when you
whoa!
compare that to
I
other
did
single
not
pot
know that.
stills, so other single pot stills are retailing now for $70 plus. So again, we just want to create affordability for the consumer. We know it's the economy is tough these days. Everyone's kind of trying to be sensible with their money, so trying to create affordable whiskeys that are you know good value for money, but fantastic spirits at the end of the day as well.
I did not know. I think this sets you 100% apart. It 100% sets you apart. The fact that you actually are able to provide a whiskey that is $29, affordable, easy drinking whiskey with a little bit of body to it that can go into a highball or be have neat. This is a big deal. This is literally a big deal. I don't understand if people understand that it's not an everyday thing to find a whiskey that is that affordable. That is
Yeah,
not main quote unquote mainstream.
100%. Yeah, it's
You
not.
got you got some fans in here.
Hi, Stacey. How are you doing? I figured
Everybody knows Stacey.
Stacey might pop in.
I don't feel worthy every time I have to talk about Irish whiskey because believe it or not, the first year I wanted to do this, I went and stalked Stacey's page for a while, and I saw how she talked about it to really I would say be give honor to Irish whiskey without. Stacey knows her stuff. And yeah, Stacey, thank you for being the inspiration for me to actually really get into Irish whiskey the right way. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you being here. It means a lot.
Yeah,
It means a lot.
Stacey's
So
great. Nice, Stacey.
yeah, she's good people. You it doesn't get any better than Stacey. So thank you for all of you guys again that are watching. We appreciate you being here. Um, This I'm shocked. I did not know the price point. Obviously, this is the first time we're talking about it, but I'm gonna display it again. This is a 29.99 bottle. It's I did not know this. So thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate every single one of you guys that are first watching, but this is beautiful. This tastes amazing. beautiful light note. Remind me of, like I said, good Irish whiskey. Remind me of spring. Flowers are blooming. Some lemon zest. You want to have something light and fruity, um, and it has it all with a little kick to it, where you can make a cocktail with. So the dad may not have made limoncello, but he definitely produced something that makes sense, right?
We made something better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
So
that's something that's just so people know, it's something that's slowly being rolled out to the States. I'm in Oregon here. It's readily available in Oregon.
okay,
We're working hard to get it into as many states as possible. We do have an online shop if people
okay.
want to shop there.
I can display that for folks so they can see, which you also have an amazing website, by the way.
Oh,
Beautiful.
thank you.
Yeah, I went through it. Every time I do anything, I try to make sure that I check out people's website to see with that. I mean, this is your real website, right? The County Distillery that IE,
Yeah.
um, for the people that obviously want to know. But I can show. I like to always say, people can. I don't know when we go in vertical how well that comes up, but I'm gonna see if we can share it and show the folks what that looks like
Yeah,
on the
it looks
screen.
good.
So
Oh, the website.
so
Yeah, yeah.
far, yeah.
So
So
we actually we recently redesigned that maybe
correct.
late last year.
So you can go to Europe, and you can go to Europe, or you can go to international on there, and you can literally see what that looks like. You go in, and you can go literally. These are all their expressions that they have.
Yeah, something to note, Jack, is that we haven't got the galley head on that store yet. We're working on that
Correct.
to get it
Correct.
over. The double oak as well is at 49.95 still. That should be at that price for a small period of time and hopefully come down soon. But we are
Okay.
running we do have a promo active if anyone wants to buy anything. It's Clon 10 CLON.
You know what? Can you do you have access to write, so we can actually can you put in the note? Do you have access to chat, to the chat,
I
private
can
chat?
put in it says
Let me
private
see.
chat.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So you heard it here. I'm gonna display it for people that want to check out the and get some of the bottles. There is a promo code. So there you go. He came prepared. He's giving you a promo code that you can actually go grab your bottle with. There you go. There you go. You have let's show it, promo code. So
Thank you.
yeah, you you can use this promo code and get on the website, and you actually get to have a good time. But so were you always in the midst? Because I have to be honest, a year ago I tried this whiskey, and I would say my comparison wasn't great, because I was like, this whiskey price versus how light it is compared to other whiskey was a little bit off for me. I was like, okay, but I didn't know a lot about the distillery. So explain to me, the as we were sipping this one, about the process of making the whiskey itself. Are you making pot still at a certain point? Are you sourcing some of the pot still? Are you making mixed grain? What is happening in
Yeah,
the
so
production of the whiskey?
So for this particular whiskey, like I said, this is grain and pot still blend. So we don't have column stills, we don't have pot stills, so we don't make grain whiskey at our distillery. So that grain whiskey is sourced. Our production right now is 75% single pot still Irish whiskey. And then recently, in the last maybe year and a half, 2 years, we started distilling single malt. So that makes up about 25% of our production right now. We're very proud of what we do. Again, we've won multiple awards for our new make spirit. We've won it twice, the best new make in Ireland at the World Whisky Awards for our single pot still, and then once for our single malt. I believe no other distillery in Ireland has won that accolade more than once, other than us. We've won it 3 times. So we as you know, we just launched the first whiskey that's our own. So those awards gave us the confidence that we're laying down fantastic spirit, which is obviously, as you know, like the basis of making good whiskey. You have to
Correct.
start with a good new make spirit,
Correct.
and that gave us the confidence to maybe move forward our release of the single pot still a year. And yeah, here we are with the spirit on the market, and we're very happy with how it turned out. Our head distiller Sheen did a fantastic job in choosing the casks for this whiskey. But yeah, we're to answer your question, we're kind of in a kind of a middle road in a sense, especially in the States where we're kind of moving through some already prior existing inventory. This Galleyhead whiskey does have our own barley in it and our own spirit in it because it has the single postle element in it, and the single postle is all our own. The double oak, which we'll try in a bit,
Correct.
is still a sourced whiskey, and we're transparent about that. But again, once we sell through existing product in the States here, once you thirsty folk get your hands on the bottles, this will eventually transition to being a different blend. It'll be a single pot still and grain blend as opposed to a single malt and a grain blend.
So you the next thing to discover in the line will be your double oak cask.
Double oak is the next one in the line. Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, so I want to show the folks what that bottle looks like. You've also put some changes in the bottle because the design of the first bottle, I like it. I mean, it seemed a little much taller and that because the original design that came on the market was this one. What I'm sorry, was this one was
Yes.
yeah. So I wanna be able to show folks, but this is the if you see on the market on the table, don't say it's a fake one. This was the original one. It's just been updated now to this style of bottle.
Yeah, it's a bit taller.
Yeah.
So the reasoning behind that is, well, one, we made custom bottles, so it actually has like a tactile filter now and has our logo and stuff, our name on the bottle. But the main reason for changing was we actually made the bottles 22% lighter, so
Hmm.
they're more sustainable to transport, and also they're made from more recycled glass. So again, like I spoke of at the top of the show, we're always striving to improve in sustainability in any manner we can. And this is just one way that we made the recent change. So when this double oak changes into the new bottles, that'll be a good indicator of when it starts including our own spirit as well. So
Correct.
something to keep an eye on there. But if you guys
Correct.
want collector's item, yeah, there's the old bottles still out there.
There is a little more that zing of spice coming through on the nose for this double oak. Can you tell me? Obviously, being double oak, I'm thinking a different maturation process. Tell us a little bit about the double oak as I display it on the screen for people.
Yeah, of course. So the double oak is, I suppose it was our core whiskey before we released our single posture whiskey, and it's been a really, really popular SKU for us through our entire existence as a company. As I said, this is a malt and grain blend right now. It is branded as a double oak, but technically it's a triple oak. So the
Hmm.
origins of it was always ex-bourbon matured and then finished in virgin American oak. So that's where they're getting, the spiciness from it, heavy vanilla notes, caramel. But then we integrated a new cask into the finishing process, shade and retoasted Bordeaux red wine cask. So that's why,
Oh,
yeah. So it's still branded as a double O. We didn't want to change the branding because it had already established itself. But technically, there's three casks in it, so it's double O finished, I suppose. Um, but yeah, that addition of the Bordeaux cask really elevated the SKU. Brought it from its silver medal in San Francisco World Spirits Competition to double gold. Won world's best blended Irish whiskey at the World Whiskey Awards a couple of years ago, and again, it's approachable all around, but it has layers of complexion here. This is out of all the whiskeys, I find this opens up and changes over time the most. So if I was to sit down for half an hour or longer, depending on how slow you drink, I suppose with a big pour of it, it kind of takes you on a journey. So it's a really nice one, just slow Friday, Saturday night to spend some good time with.
love bacon spice. That's kind of the thing that comes through on the nose.
Mm.
Fresh bacon spice. A little hint of cinnamon, also right there. Just a hint of it on top of those floral notes. I'm getting a little bit of cinnamon.
You get more kind of like a bread-like quality as well to the nose.
Red light.
Uh,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Like I would call maybe
yeah.
rye bread is where my mind is going to.
Yeah, it's very fresh.
But
It's a very fresh, fragrant nose. Again, it's similar enough to the honestly the galley head and that kind of citrus elements shining through.
mhm, mhm.
The palate then is where
There's a signature there of how, I feel like most blenders have kind of their
Hmm.
signature of blending, and I can see that signature there of blending.
Yeah, on the palate then it's nice and creamy. That's one thing we found that the shade and toasted Bordeaux cask contributed was a nice creamy
Mhm,
mouthfeel. It also contributed more nutty notes, hazelnuts, almond,
mhm.
and then you'll get that obviously the charred oak
Marzipan.
spice from that the
Mhm,
virgin oak.
mhm, mhm, for sure. So you mentioned sustainability a couple times. You did bring that up a couple times. Before we get to your own juice, which is that single pot, I wanna I want to hear about why is it that sustainability is important, because that's is something that is talked about in the industry a lot. A lot of distillery are trying their best to really push sustainability, making sure that they're giving their all into not only from the field all the way down to the bottle and the consumer, to keep that to try to be sustainable. So tell us really, why is it important to the distillery and to you and
Yeah,
your family, and what are the effort that you guys are putting in the market or in the industry, or for the bartenders, or all the way down to the field. What are the things you guys are doing to make sure that that sustainability is being shown and seen and
yeah.
put
I
into
think
place?
thanks for asking the question. Allow me to speak on it. I think Irish people as a whole, they are very sustainably conscious. I mean, when my fiance and I come to go to Ireland, it always amazes her how conscious people are about just the small things that actually do add up and make a difference. My family, I suppose, we have that connection to the land, and that's been our livelihood for 350 years. That's so we are custodians of the land in a sense, and we feel it's our duty to protect it, not just where we're from, but as a whole, around the globe. So anything that we can do, small or big, we're going to do. Um, it's it's um, it's more, it's not the easy way to do it, but it's the right way to do it, I think, in our opinion. So we really concentrate on actually doing the things we do, not just saying, oh, we're shooting for these goals in X amount of years time and things get passed down the line. Like we're doing it now. We're making changes when we see we can make changes and think of them. Like we're trying to implement them. So yeah, we're shooting to be a B Corp hopefully in the near future. So that's a big,
That's a hard one. That's
yeah,
a
that's a
hard
hard
one to
one to
get.
get, but we're going for it. So that's a lot of time investment and everything, and money investment as well, to get accreditation like that. But something we're shooting for, and yeah, geez, what do we do sustainability wise? It's always hard for me to pinpoint exactly what to talk about because we do so much. Again, we've changed our bottling to be more sustainable. We our whole distillery is we recycle heat in a way that it's reused. The distillery is run on 100% renewable energy sources. Our spent grains, like most distilleries, are sent to farmers to feed cattle. We planted a dedicated bee bank by our warehouse, so the bees have somewhere to be happy and pollinate around the place. What else do we do? Obviously, we've farming wise, we integrate and use sustainable farming practices, and the farmers that we work with in the local area as well do the same. So that's only a yeah, geez, that's a portion of what we do. It's nonstop. But again, whenever we think of something that was in a way that we can improve, we're going to try our best to do it. It's the right thing to do, in our opinion.
It's not. It's people don't ever do it just because the right thing to do is usually because there is maybe some tax credit, or something of that side. So I usually like to remind folks that, hey, if you mean it, what B Corp is. There's only a few people that I know in the industry that have a B Corp. Is not an easy designation to have for people that don't know B Corp. It's that you've achieved a certain level of sustainability in your operation, that you are participating and making the environment better. So that's a big deal for a lot of places where we know making whiskey mean a lot of emission of gas and things in nature. And you to be conscious of that
Yeah.
is a big
And
deal.
it's not
So
just B Corp as well. It's not just about environmental. It's the company as a whole, operating correctly and taking care of our employees and making sure there's systems in place and safety in place and all these extra things. So it's just kind of, we want to make ourselves the best company possible and respect the people who work for us, and um, create a good environment for our employees and an environment for just as a global perspective as well. So excited for where we're going to be at in 10 years time and what strides we're going to have made by then.
I'm sure there'll be some good things that are going to come up. The fact that you're conscious of it, and you've been intentional about it, does make a serious difference on how, um you know on how you definitely make a difference in the industry. So I'm hoping, that things do get better for you. I'm hoping that things work out for you, because I really want to see you guys actually
Thank you.
get there, especially if you've been very, very conscious about it. You are putting in the effort. A lot of people are not so intentional about their ability to actually get things done. So when someone is intentional, I think they deserve all the success that
Thank
can
you.
come their
Appreciate
way.
that.
So um, let's talk about your own, just because now I'm very curious, when with all the award you've won, about the new make of your single pastille. Now I want to know. I want to hear all about your spirit itself. For all of you guys, this is what it looks like. I really, really am
Yeah.
curious about how this came about. What are the things that are happening? What you're doing differently to actually make sure that this is coming to life. So I want to hear
Yeah.
all about it.
So for those who don't know aren't familiar with single postle as a style of whiskey, um, I might just go into that a small bit. So single postle whiskey is the quintessential style of Irish whiskey. It's how Irish whiskey was pretty much originally made. The origins of it are basically in the 1600s. The British tried to implement a malt tax on Ireland, and we didn't want to pay them any extra money. So what we did is we swapped out malted some a portion of malted barley in our mash bill to be unmalted barley, and thus we didn't have to pay the tax on the unmalted barley. So that was the origins of single pot still whiskey, and yeah, it saw growth for centuries, and then it almost died a slow death. And we've seen a significant revitalization in the last decade or so. So there's only three Irish whiskey distilleries back in Ireland in the early 2010s. Now there's 50 plus. I think we're one of maybe 11 or 12 distilleries making single pot still whiskey. So we're very excited to keep the tradition of single pot still whiskey alive, or being a small part of that at least. Um, but stylistically, as a whiskey, the characteristics that come hand in hand with a single pot still whiskey are, again, spice, um, very nice, full, oily mouthfeel, and also almost like a Christmas cake kind of fruitiness to it. So this,
the the interesting thing is the proof for me.
yeah, why is that?
Because every expression of yours that I've seen, and mind you, I've been holding on to this bottle for
Mm,
almost 4 months, no, almost 6 months now, and I didn't want to open it till I'm able to talk to you, talk to someone from the distillery, because my thing was, most of your bottles are about 43, You know, 43, 40 and over, but this one is
Yeah.
46.
Well, what we
So I was like, okay, the proof is interesting, right? You single pot steel. Can you talk about what type of barrel you use, and also why is that proof
yeah, I
choice?
suppose we always have a guideline, an idea of where we want to land in terms of ABV proof. But ultimately, it's our head distiller's decision, really. So he'll taste at multiple different ABVs, and he'll decide, which works best for the SKU. So we knew we wanted to give it a small bit of a bump up, because obviously, I know you, like you said, you love your higher proof whiskeys, and this isn't
Hmm.
barrel proof or anything like that, but it does have that little kind of bump in ABV, and you can kind of get that when you're tasting it as well. So that's the reasoning behind that. This whiskey it's matured in three different casks: ex bourbon casks, Amontillado sherry, and Oloroso sherry casks. Um, yeah, so
Okay, that is an interesting also
it
choice of
is. It
cask.
is. The Amontillado is a really unique one.
Correct, and that's what I'm saying. Is like you don't often find Irish whiskey in Amontillado. I've found a few that are more newer, kind of new age Irish whiskey, but to see Amontillado actually as the barrel is it's not often. So you guys are already placing yourself
Yeah,
to be
I think it's
different.
important to kind of, in this day and age with so many options out there, um, choosing a unique cask it wasn't by any means like a necessity, like let's do something completely different here at all. It was always, let's try all the different things and see what's the best again. And I think Amontillado worked best for us, but also thankfully it was a unique cask to utilize as well. So it's
Peach
peach marmalade.
marmalade.
Yes, or I never thought of. I've never had peach marmalade. Don't really get that in Ireland.
At a certain point of my life, I was obsessed with marmalade, and from orange to to strawberry to a lot of marmalade. I've tried a
Yeah.
few of them, and I'm from a French background, which they call confiture. Is marmalade, and for me, like I've always wanted to try different type of confiture to see
Oh,
what would
nice.
that be like, and I love peach cobbler, right? But I wanted to, and when I found peach marmalade, I'm like,
Okay, I'm
this.
gonna have to try and source that somewhere. But I'm impressed with that tasting note, especially like just marmalade in general, because one of the key tasting notes I get in this is we have it's a chocolate kind of biscuit called Jaffa cake in Ireland. Have you ever had a Jaffa
Mhm,
cake?
mhm. When we stopped, I've had it in. So I used to order a
Okay.
snack box from all around countries, and Jaffa Cake was part of my Irish
Nice. So you know
snack
what it is.
box.
So in
Yeah,
the for people who don't know what it is, it's kind of like
yeah.
a soft sponge on the bottom. In the middle, it's like a orange marmalade kind of jelly. So again, like it's just that
Hmm.
kind of citrusy, sweet interior, and then there's chocolate over the top. And that's what I get in this. It's that orange chocolate, and it reminds me of Jaffa cakes. And I've had people on live streams that I have been part
It's
of.
you couldn't be any more right than that, because I'm about to show them. I feel sometimes like people think I am full of crap when I give
Mm,
some certain notes. Uh, I've seen people uh, on Twitter and places go, what? How did you get this tasting note? There's no way these are the tasting note that you have. And I say, trust me, this is what it reminds me of. So for all of you guys who don't know what he's
mhm.
talking about, uh, this are Jaffa cakes. This is what it looks like. So there is a bottom, and there is obviously some marmalade in, and then chocolate on top. So just in case you don't know what
Yeah,
he's talking
yeah.
about, but here you go.
So yeah, and obviously, sorry, just to continue on the whiskey, you're going to get that single pot still spice like I talked about. So that's going to be prevalent.
Hmm.
Obviously, the ABV kind of backs that up a small bit as well. Um,
Should we make that the secret word of the day,
Jaffa,
Jaffa?
sure. Yeah, sure. I'm not
Jaffa
sure
as
how
in
this
Jaffa
exactly
cake.
works, to be honest, but I'm down with the word
I think that's what we should make the secret word of the J is Jaffa as in Jaffa cake. So if you've watched till this point, then you will have the secret word of the day. So I'm gonna write it down also on my 30 days of Irish whiskey handy dandy. If you're following with us for day 5, the secret word is Jaffa, Jaffa.
Nice.
Jaffa as in Jaffa cake. So don't share if people are not watching. Somebody said, why do you have to make me hungry? Because now I want to try, I want to try it. So Jaffa cakes are kind of cool, but I'll definitely say, yeah, if you're watching it, the secret word of the day, if you're following with me, is Jaffa cake. So we found the secret of the day. Remember, Sean was very gracious, very gracious. This hat, I have a few of them there that are actually going to be there, so people can win this hat when we do our drawing. The shirt, beautiful shirt. I think I may sneak one for myself, even though I didn't want to keep anything. Love this. And then on the front, guess what? You got to sign the back. And he also made sure. I tell you, every gentleman, either you're wearing a kilt or some pants, every gentleman need themselves a flask. So I'm gonna show you right now. You know, yeah, she said love it as an because people that actually grew up in Ireland know what you're talking about when you say Jaffa cake. And obviously, this flask right here, I have a few of them. Those are the things we were giving away for 30 days of Irish whiskey. Yeah, people are clapping, they're loving it. These are things that you're gonna win. There's plenty of things that are out for grabs that we're gonna do. So make sure you fill your calendar, make sure you keep up with us. We have a few more days ahead of us. So I want to make sure that we are good and ready to go. So my question here, as I'm tasting this, if you don't mind, what are the age of the blends that
So
went
this
into
is this
this?
is about a 4.5-year-old whiskey. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So
It is
yeah,
that
it's that
young?
young. So it's yeah, it's been received really well. This won a double gold in San Francisco as well. This is batch one. I think yours must be batch one as well that you have. So
Yeah, I have
yeah,
batch one, yeah.
it's never a guarantee. I think with a distillery, you're going to get your first release right. We think from what we've heard, people have saying we've done a good job, so we're very happy with that. And the whiskey's only going to get better. It's only going to get older over time. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Is if this get older, I mean, this is something to be. I I, I I mean, it's gonna become a crazy expression because for me, at 4 years old, I am bamboozled by the depth of flavors that are in. If you don't mind me asking, what's the price point on
it's
this one
49
compared to
99.
you can't how can you beat that? You can't beat that. You literally cannot beat that. You can't beat that. You literally can. If you hear it and if you're watching, I will tell you right now. I'm you people always often ask the question like, well, where do I start? I'm gonna display it if you don't mind. I'm gonna hide our faces for a minute. Start here. Just start here. Start here. This right here, 29.99. If you hate it, you can curse my name and it'll be okay. 29.99, right? But I will tell you right now, whiskey that you want to take into a home and kind of have your guests. I think pouring it to people and then asking them how old it is will probably be more fun for you as you actually go through 49.99. I tell you what, it's only going to get better every year. And I don't know, but at least you can say, I knew when he was younger and now is actually even better than what it is. I cannot wait to see the generational progression of how, how that whiskey went. But brother, you and your family are doing something special. You are doing something special, and I want to congratulate you ahead of time because not only you doing something special, you're doing it at the right
Thank you.
price and at the right moment, and that matters. That really matters
Yeah.
to folks. Um, the question I will have in our closing is, what should the average consumer, at least the US consumer, because that's my biggest audience, look forward to in the next few months coming, when it comes to um, Clonakilty, right? What should they look forward to? What should they be on a lookout for? I have a few people that are already using the code that I put in. Somebody thought it was a clan I0, but it's a
Yeah.
clan 10. So they're using it. And what should they look forward to? What do you want them to know about what's happening in the plan in America, and what should they look forward to, and what should they keep their eyes out for so they can help support the
Yeah,
brand?
I appreciate you asking that question. So I suppose um, right now as a business, again, we're concentrating on rolling out these new products, especially the galley head and the single pot still. So keep an eye out for that and where you're at. The single pot still is available on our online shop in the US. Hopefully, we'll have the galley head available there in the next bit. So keep an eye on there. Um, yeah, we're just really trying to kind of knuckle down and spread the word of these new whiskeys now that we've reduced the price on them, get into more bars and everything like that, and really make a dent over here. In terms of the future after that, obviously things will evolve. There'll be future expressions probably around the single pot still whiskey. We're going to be releasing our heritage barley release in a few years' time. I don't know, maybe you have to wait at least 3 to 4 years probably with that, but that's
Mhm,
a ancient grain that we've been cultivating over years on our farm, literally grown from a couple handfuls of barley where my dad sowed it, harvested it with a strimmers, like a garden strimmers, yielded a bucket full of grain and then a wheelbarrow grain, and then we had enough for a distillation. So that would be like an annual release if you think like a Middleton very rare esque kind of whiskey. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be a while, but yeah, follow us on social media. I suppose would be a great way to keep in touch. Stacy, shout out Stacy.
and you don't even need to say I'm putting it out there for the folks. They're if you're on Instagram, they are on Instagram, and their Instagram is Clonakilty Distillery. You
Yeah,
cannot get that wrong. They're on Facebook as well. They're
yeah,
on
and
Twitter as
TikTok.
well.
And
Um,
something interesting actually is we have a really fun community. It's called on Facebook. It's a Facebook group called the Clonakilty Crew. Stacy is actually one of our community
okay,
admins on that. So she'll be. I'm not.
okay.
She handles it, and Bob. They accept the invite.
If Stacy is here, make sure you share the YouTube link into the group so people can actually come back and watch the recast and see. We are on Facebook. We are streaming right now on Facebook, so make sure you share with the folks so they can actually get to see Sean in action
Yeah,
in
that'd
what
be
he's
great. But
doing.
keep, yeah, join, invite yourself to that group. I'm hoping to have some really fun, unique interactions with the group, and potentially even a bespoke a release for members of the group in the future as well. We need the community to continue to grow to warrant that release, but we're at 200 members right now, I think, and that's a really engaged, exciting community. So yeah, if you enjoy our whiskey, if you get your hands on a bottle, feel free to post about it in there or wherever you might see. You guys can also follow me on social media. It's normally Sean Clonakilty Irish Whiskey, Twitter and Instagram.
Do you know how hard it was? The only place I was able to find you easily was on
Oh, right.
LinkedIn, because there is so many. I'm like, there is no way there is so many Sean Scully, but I bet I was most shocked today to find out that there is a list of
Yeah.
21st people of Sean Scully, and you may be 21 in that line of people. And I said, there's famous Sean Scullys. I said, how many Sean
No, it's not.
Scullys are
Yeah,
out there?
there's
So
one very famous painter called Sean Scully, and that's that's not my
okay.
forte, obviously, at all. So I stay away from that. I'll just flog some whiskey instead. But yeah, that's the most famous Sean Scully. So I'll never be as famous as him. But
It's I love it. So for all of you guys here, Clonakilty is the distillery. Sean is the man. He is local to the US. I urge every single whiskey pages, YouTube channels, all the folks that actually we are close to. I'll make sure I pass your name along. I think the history, your family history, the effort you guys are putting in need to be heard by more people. I'll make sure that we keep passing this along so people know what's happening in the market. I'm naming you 2025 most affordable Irish whiskey out there because of this. What I just had there with just Galley, it will work for any beginner, pro, anybody can drink this. I'm gonna give it the African test during this summer. I host a lot of
Okay,
African parties and people that are gonna try something new. I'm gonna see how many people are going to agree with me that this is
good.
actually good whiskey or not. And if you pass the the African test, then that means that these are gonna fly off the shelf. I'm in Nebraska. I hope he's gonna come in the Midwest, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, Kansas. Those are places where I quickly people can go in and grab, and grab
Brilliant.
something
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing
from
back on the
there.
test, and thanks for having me on,
Oh
Jack. I
yeah,
really appreciate
I'm.
it.
No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. You are doing a fantastic job. I always tell people the reason why I have my channel is for people to tell their story, and hopefully people understand that you are not supporting just a mega brand. You are supporting people. They are real. These are people that are putting their livelihood on the line to make sure you are getting the best whiskey they can provide you. If you're here, thank you so much for being here. If you're watching the recast, don't forget, like I said, Sean was so kind. All you cheap ass big distilleries that don't even want to be part, guess what? Sean sent shirts for people, so you guys get to win it. Flask for people, you guys get to win it. And obviously, he made sure that there was hat. I love hats, so that's why I'm wearing this one. And remember, everyone, make sure to download your 30 Days of Irish Whiskey. We have had our word of the day, the magic word of the day, for all of you guys who did not hear it. If you're watching right now, or if you ever watched the recast, then the magic word is Jaffa. Jaffa as in Jaffa cake. We blame Sean for this word because he's the one who brought this up. And we all gonna find some Jaffa cake now and try to eat it. Uh, definitely something that we're excited about. Uh, Somebody want to know if you're in Arizona, right? They want to see if they will see a Clonakilty in
Arizona, I
Arizona.
think. Jesus, that's a good question. We're not widely distributed, if anything. But again, I'd point you
Okay,
towards the online
okay,
shop. I think we should like 48
correct.
states.
48 state online, so online will be the easiest way. I will tell you this, guys. Here's what you can do: follow them on social media. Make sure you actually go to your stores and start asking about connect. The only way you help a brand is start going to your store and start asking for a specific brand, especially when definitely this makes it on the market. Start asking. If you start asking, guess what? They will have to call Sean and say, "Hey, who's your distributor and how can we get this in our store?" What means is that make Sean work. If you go and start asking your stores, that means he get to work. That means more people get to hear about it. 29.99. You don't bring the average. Jemison is a household name. You want to impress your guests, bring something different, say equal than that price, if not better and different than what you used to. So go out there, start asking your favorite retailer, start asking your Total Wine, start asking those places, hey, I want to see this here because I love this whiskey. Then they have to call Sean and say, Sean, how do we get it here? How do we? And then he get to push buttons and work hard to actually get it to you. So that's how you support a brand. And start asking for your favorite expression. But for now, go on the website and try to get in. He say just in a few moments, you're gonna see the Gali one on the website. So once it's there, buy it.
Yeah,
Twenty
yeah.
nine ninety nine.
And if
You
anyone has
get to
some
buy it.
questions
You
about
get
trying
to
to locate it in their state, find me on socials, shoot me a message, and I'm more than happy to help you out. But
correct.
yeah, thanks again, Jack. I appreciate you showcasing our brand.
You are now
Yeah,
part of our family. Sean, you're now part of our family. If you ever have anything, if a new expression come on the market and you feel like you need to talk about it, anytime, any day, you're now part of the Hood Sommelier family, and you can actually come in and talk to us anytime. We appreciate you being here. And for all of you guys watching, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for being part of my 30 Days of Irish Whiskey. And I hope next year we have you on with new expression